Hey folks, hope you guys are having a good All Saints Day. Welcome back to the Livewrite. We're going to create some live stuff. We're going to keep writing the book. Taking a look at it. Here it is. Get to the good stuff. As always, if you are a member of the Patreon, you actually get copies of this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat. Same thing if you are a paying Substack subscriber. If you want to do it through Substack, I also do it through Substack. Let me link that. Here it is. You ever see media like Dustborn and Dragon Age Veilguard and think, wow, how much worse can it get? Seems like constant stream of games one-upping each other on how bad they can get. Yeah. So I think you're seeing the AAA game industry fall into the Hollywood trap, which is that you spend no money on writing and you hire your writing positions purely based off of like social media connections or nepotism and things like that, and you get terrible writing. So that's part of it. You're not going to have anyone that's competent in your stable, so to speak. And there's no one who can really check that because they live in a weird, isolated little island where they don't know what normal human behavior is. You have this weird thing where the Bay Area and LA and California are really weird places to pretty much everybody else in California. Because I lived in California. So you go there and it's like they live in their own world. They don't leave the city to do other things. They might go on vacation to like a foreign land, but to be honest, if you live in LA, Orange County is like a foreign land to you. And that's just like right down the road. San Francisco, if you live in San Francisco, Stockton is a foreign country to you, and that's 20 minutes away in the Bay Area, you know? Oakland's a foreign country, but it's more like Haiti. You don't go to Oakland, right? So their perception of reality gets so distorted because they're so isolated from normal people that the weirdness and the badness of the writing, they can't even contemplate it. And so the response to when people are like, this is really stupid, is to say, well, you're a bigot, right? It's to accuse the person of being bad somehow. You don't like it because you're bad. That's why you don't like it. It's because you're bad. Not because it's poorly written. They can't even comprehend what poorly written means. Good or bad writing has to do with whether it is politically good or bad. Good writing would be politically good. It has the correct political message. Bad writing is politically bad. It has the worst. You know, this is why Tolkien is a bad writer, is because he's politically bad. He's politically bad. So it'll get worse until you start to have some major shifts away from those population centers in terms of where the workers are working and who you're hiring. You know, Elden Ring, I know that like George R.R. Martin was involved with that. A lot of people like to dogpile on Martin, but he's a good writer. He knows what he's doing. And he's from that previous generation, so he's not completely isolated from other humans. You know, I bet someone could have hired Michael Moorcock to do game writing, but they don't do it because it's about getting their friends involved. And keep in mind, they don't pay writers shit. Writers get paid almost nothing in these industries. People are shocked when they find out how little money you earn at a writer's room in Hollywood. You know, last time when I was looking for a job to do that, which was like 10 years ago, I was like, I don't think I can afford to do it because they only paid like, you know, one of them paid $13,000 for 6 weeks. It's like, dude, that'll buy like cat food in LA, you know? It's not going to buy anything where you're living. $24,000 a year. bad, man. You know, meanwhile, you have like thousands of like independent writers and not even independent writers, like mainstream writers publishing books with Tor that you could hire to do this stuff, but you just don't. You hire comic book writers, which are at this point, I don't know what the worst writer group is. Is it comic writers or video game writers? You guys have to tell me. I'm inclined to say American comic book writers right now. Or comics in general, I think the writers are the worst. Because there are still really good game writers if you look outside the American industry. If you're just looking at Americans, I think it's a toss-up. You know, are games worse written than comics? I think comics are probably still worse. Comics are probably still the worst writers. If you're selecting a writer at random, and you select a comic writer at random, and you select a video game writer at random, the comic writer is almost assuredly going to be worse. You saw that with like the Castlevania series. They hired a comic book writer, and it was like the worst writing anybody's ever seen in TV. TV writers are generally bad too, and Hollywood writers as well, but they're a step above the comic book writers. The comic book writers are inspired by those bad Hollywood writers, but lack the talent to do it. Whatever little talent they need. So yeah. They cross-pollinate. Okay. Let's see where we are. Writers' rooms are just a quick way to up the diversity quotas game publishers set for themselves. They're also just a way to reward basic nepotism. If you know someone that works in Hollywood, you can get a writer's room job. It doesn't pay crap, but it gets you in the industry, you know. That's why people want to have them, right? You make this connection. It's all about making the connections. Hey David, I haven't watched one of your streams in a while. Is this story about the young man whose lover's held hostage and he has to assassinate someone? I think that was the last plot. No, I'm gonna link that one. That one got published a while back. First I put it on Kindle Vela, which is dead. Yeah, you can read it here. And this is another book. So I wrote that one and published it back in May, actually in April. So this is, I've only been doing this one once a week. You know, so we did that one. This is a totally different one. Let's see where we're at with this one. 72,925 words. Not bad. I'm not particularly prolific. I wouldn't call this prolific, right? I'm only doing this once a week. I come out with a lot of stuff, though, and I did write a book on being prolific, right? But writing 2 books a year is not really prolific. I've done a lot of other stuff this year, though, too. So, yeah. Just a quick update for anyone that's watching. You get a new book for November with Patreon. It's called The Bright Children. It actually was only on Kindle Vela, but I'm gonna put it out for everybody on the Patreon. You get an early copy of that. So cool deep cut that nobody else has gotten to really read. Where's my Keys to Prolific Creativity book? Here it is. Yeah. Just a little bit of work every week, and you can get books done. I'll have finished, a short book and a really long book in 9 months of just doing this once a week. So that's a lot, You can get a lot done just with consistent work and when you're working, being focused while you work. And this is not super focused. I take breaks to talk to people in the chat or just kind of see what's up or to just think, right? And we're still able to get a lot done. So yeah, that's the key. You just gotta be consistent with your work. Good work habits go a really long way. What do you think it will take until we can retake the games industry? Is it even worth saving at this point? Is indie gaming the future like it is in literature and comics? So, you should stop thinking about it as like retaking, right? Indie gaming is the future because that's is the majority of games, and that's going to be the majority of games. And it's something that I think everybody's going to be, that wants to be successful in games, is going to be looking at first is what's possible to do independently, right? I think the golden chalice of games is something like Skyrim, or maybe like Grand Theft Auto. What I mean by that is a AAA game. It's a game of, you have to think about how these things looked when they came out, not how they look now, because people have different standards now with ray tracing and all that stuff. But even so, Skyrim now can look like a current gen game. A game of intense graphical fidelity, of extreme scale, of extreme detail, of an extreme amount of diverse kind of writing, of like highly refined gameplay. Skyrim's not my favorite Elder Scrolls game, but I think the gameplay is really solid. There's a reason that everybody likes it. It's because it's really fun to play. It's not just the lore, it's not just the graphics, it's the whole thing. The great music, right? The golden chalice is not something that you can easily do. However, you have to remember that Minecraft, which is the best-selling game of all time, I think, was made by one guy. It was made by one dude. So you can make something that has the potential to have massive impact as one person. You know, if you were to look at Skyrim as an engine, you know, there's people who solo developed standalone expansions, new games like Indorol or whatever. They standalone developed, you know, total game replacements for Oblivion and for Skyrim. So that's a possibility for doing this stuff, you know. You use Skyrim as a platform for a type of game, and then you put in your own content, your own stories, your own lore, your own geography, maybe even your own gameplay, right? You're just using their engine to do it. It's weird that people are willing to spend a lot of money and time in a mod for Skyrim and aren't as willing to just do that from the ground up. But there's so many resources required to do something like Skyrim or Grand Theft Auto. That's not something that most people are going to be able to achieve. We have to look at the truth is that no one has really done that since they came out. So we're looking at like 12 years of nothing achieving that golden chalice standard. Nothing. No game has come close to that. As far as the player interest, like its persistent quality, the mods. The closest thing is probably Baldur's Gate 3, which I've streamed on the channel. It's a good game. Is it as good as Skyrim? Nowhere close. It's a great game, actually. I'm going to say it's a great game. It's not even close to Skyrim in terms of fulfilling the promise of gaming. So, to retake the games industry means that you have to just put all of your people in the games industry. And what does that mean? What does us retaking it mean? What does we mean? Right? Who is we? You know, the games industry developed by a bunch of small teams. That's how it grew up. So the next big Skyrim will probably be made by somebody who starts as a small team now and then builds the company from there. We're looking at all of these existing games companies as basically the way that the leftists view corporations. It's like, how can corporations be so lefty? And the answer is because they correctly view the corporation as like a ring of power. It's something that you can grab. If you can take control of it, then you can use it to do what you want to do. So if you can take control of BioWare, you can use it to make Dragon Age Veilguard, which is like an insult to the previous games, right? You can use it to do whatever you want. You can have whatever gay stuff you want. Now, that being said, another thing people need to realize about Dragon Age is that it's always been full of gay stuff. The reason people forgave all the gayness or just didn't care or thought it was cool was the games were just better. Like Dragon Age Origins was full of gay stuff. but the game was just better. Like Ogren's wife left him for another female dwarf, right? Leliana's bisexual. You can romance her with whoever. Zevran's bisexual. You can have like a 4-way orgy in the whorehouse in Dragon Age Origins if you want to. If you want to like work that out, right? There's all kinds of gay stuff, but you have to choose it, and then it's not preaching to you about it. It's just kind of there in the game. And they don't really have a positive or negative moral judgment about it. They're not looking at you and saying this is how you need to feel about it. It's just like it's a thing that's there. And honestly, even if they had done stupid stuff like what Veilguard does, people might forgive it because the rest of the game is so good. Like the characters were so well written, the story was so good. So if you're viewing the corporation the way that they do, which is, well, you have to get control of the HR departments, and you have to get the HR departments to hire all of your people, and you have to figure out how you're going to hire your people. What's the signal for your person? Because they have an easy time signaling, right? They can signal with their race. They can signal with their gender. They can signal with their sexual identity. How do you signal the opposite of that, right? You would have to have some other kind of way to signal it that I can't think of easily, right? Because you can see, well, this person is maybe not those things, right? His name's Dave Smith, and he's probably white and non-Jewish. So do you hire him for that? Well, he could also be gay, right? You don't know, right? And why do those things matter? I don't know. So, yeah, the next Skyrim is going to be made by some team that's kind of small, or was small recently and is growing. Just like how Witcher 3 was made by a team that... I guess Witcher 3 might be the closest to, like, that Golden Chalice. I don't think it's nearly as good as Skyrim. But, like, it's good. It's a really good game. So... CD Projekt Red started by making the first Witcher game in the BioWare Aurora engine. So they just used a BioWare-made engine to make the first Witcher game. And then they had enough resources to build a new engine for Witcher 2, which then I think they used for Witcher 3. So it started as a really small team lovingly crafting a game that they loved. And if you go back and play the original Witcher, you'll see that with a lot of the graphics. And if you could play the original Witcher, the graphics are crap. It looks like crap, but there was enough heart there to get people interested. It was in, like, the story was good enough executed that they were able to build something up and then eventually make Witcher 3. And then Cyberpunk 2077. Is CD Projekt Red going to be on the decline after this? Once a corporation gets converted, it's like corporate cancer. Vox Day wrote this book called Corporate Cancer. I'm going to recommend it to some people. I'm just going to link it here. He's not paying me anything to link it, right? But I have read it, and it's a good book, and I recommend it. I did a video on it. Right, Corporate Cancer: How to Work Miracles by Saving Your Company. So I'm going to go ahead and link it here, right? So once the company becomes terminal, once it becomes fully converged, and it's terminally leftist, it will decline and die. It's like an inevitable thing. It's, if you look at it as like a patient, once you have enough cancer in your body that you can't fight it off, you're terminal at that point. So the analogy holds, like, once a company gets enough DEI hires and enough woke propagandists in HR all through it, then it's bound to die. You won't be able to make good art under those kinds of oppressive political circumstances, right? People dictating every little thing about what you can and can't say in your art, it's destined to die. At the same time, you also lose the ability for the company to perform its core function. Vox is really talks about this a lot. It's like it loses its core function. The core function of a games company is to make games. So once it stops making games and starts making propaganda, or starts making DEI hires, or starts making some other thing that's not their core product, then you're looking at, something that's got cancer and it's dying. Right? Like, what is Dragon Age Veilguard? It's technically a game, but it's, or what was the one? Dustborn? Was it Dustborn? It's just a piece of propaganda. It's just diversity hire the game. It doesn't perform its core function of letting people have fun. So once a game doesn't let people have fun, like, you're looking at a cancer thing. So, what's the next Skyrim? It's going to be made by a company that starts small and then builds up. And that can happen. Honestly, the industry is wide open for that sort of thing. It's not like you have to go to EA to get the big budgets. Maybe eventually that's the case. Like, you have to, in order to get a big budget, you have to be part of a big company. So yeah, if you wanted to retake those big companies, you have to figure out a way to get rid of all the cancer. You have to figure out how to cut the cancer out. It's not that easy, and it's not like I can do it sitting here talking at a camera, right? I'm writing books. So that's my contribution to this, other than having this conversation, right? So it's not like I can do a whole lot to like fix the games industry without me entering into the games industry to change it in the way that needs to change it. Like, I'd have to go somehow get into the HR business. And how am I going to get hired to be in HR if I am a white male looking like this, right? With a Beowulf shirt. I'm not. They're not going to hire me. It's really hard, right? Yeah, CD Projekt Red is done for now. I probably agree with you. Brian Niemeyer says, my friend says Baldur's Gate 3 is superior to Skyrim. According to him, the story and combat are better. I would not say the combat is better. It's different. It's Dungeons and Dragons combat. I really like it. The story is good. Skyrim is not about the story, though. And in some ways, Baldur's Gate 3 is not about the story. It's about exploring the world and kind of seeing what's in it and talking to the things that are in there. But what Skyrim really was is the last game that lets you just live another life. Baldur's Gate 3 is really good, and Witcher 3 is both really good. Maybe they're also chalice holders. Maybe I could put them in the same category. Larian made Baldur's Gate 3. It started as a small company with the Divinity games. Started as a small company, built up, got to make a big, high budget game that was really good. Same thing with CD Projekt Red with Witcher 3. So the way that it gets retaken is you just do that. Easier said than done. But you have to construct your company in such a way that it does not get converged. That, like, the corporate cancer is not an inevitable state. So you have to figure out how to keep the cancer out, and if you get it, cure it quickly. Vox has some suggestions for how to do that. Who just dissed The Sims? I don't think I dissed The Sims. Yeah, they all play very differently. I agree. It depends on what you want. It really just depends on what you want for those games. I think they're all good games. If we're looking at standout promises of the video game future, no one's made a game at the level of Skyrim that does what Skyrim does. Rather, what people do is they make mods for Skyrim instead, because that's more directed towards it. You know what I mean? Anime Jesus and Mary. Yes, this is the famous anime icon by Aileron. Controversial. I think the controversy is fun. I think it's fun to think about the controversy. People love this. There it is on this shoulder. People love this. They love it. Why do they love it? Well, they think it's beautiful. They think it's pretty. They like the aesthetic. They like the way Mary is looking at you. They like the way Jesus is portrayed and how innocent he looks as a baby, because he was a baby. This is something I mentioned the other day with streams. Catholics don't shrink away from portraying Christ as an innocent baby just as we are, because he was fully human. That's part of expressing his full humanity. And this is not universal, but in some Orthodox circles, they portray Jesus even as a child with adult-like features, because they have a particular belief about that aesthetics that would say that you don't portray him as a baby. You want to emphasize his divinity instead, which is, different systems communicate different things and emphasize different things. Yeah. So the sandal is falling off in the original. I'll find the original real quick. It's based on Our Lady of Perpetual Health, which is a very famous icon that I believe you can still see in the Vatican. So here it is. It's right here. Okay, so here's the original, and you can kind of compare. right? So it's based off this. This one uses the more Eastern style of portraying the baby Christ with a disproportionately small head and more adult-like features. Though obviously not, he doesn't have a beard or anything. And yeah, his little sandal is falling off. And to me, I like that sandal falling off because it does indicate that he is a baby, right? And he needs mom to care for him, because that's part of the human experience. Is we're born unable to motivate our body properly. We learn to move in our body. We learn how to be human. We learn how to keep our shoes on, for instance, how to hold on to things, how to not fall over, how to walk. Those are human processes. And so that's just a little gesture towards that. His sandal is falling off. You know, to me, that detail can say a lot. You know, small details can really say a lot. But that's what the original is based on. And you can see the anime one. So you have the angels. Usually it's I'm not sure if they're particular angels. Usually one is Gabriel, because he's the one who addresses Mary, right? Very often you'll see two angels in iconographic art. One of them is Gabriel and the other one is Michael, the two archangels. Gabriel's usually presented as holding like an olive branch or something similar like that, or a trumpet. The trumpet is indicating the judgment, and the olive branch is indicating, you know, the forgiveness of God. Whereas Michael is portrayed as holding a sword or a spear, because he's the force, right? He's the one who casts Lucifer out. He's the one who guards the way into the Garden of Eden, things like that. So those are the two sides: is sort of the forgiveness and the call, and then the wrath of God, the judgment, the force of the judgment, and the forgiveness of the judgment. So that's what you see with a lot of those. Pretty interesting, right? So yeah, that sandal falling off, I think, is a detail. I think it's a cool detail. I think we often forget kind of the weight of meaning that's given behind icons, why they are drawn the way that they're drawn, and, you know, why they choose to emphasize certain features, things like that. So I think you can still see that one in the Vatican Museum. I could be wrong, but that's the one that it's based off of. Pretty cool. And by the way, you'll see a lot of this language still in lots of Catholic art all the way through to today. It tends to be very formalized in Eastern Catholic or, you know, Byzantine Rite, as well as Eastern Orthodox churches, depending on, you know, which Orthodox church you're looking at. All right, so where are we going? Yes, we're going to the library. Oh, right. You want to see the document. Thanks for answering my question. You're very, very welcome. Yeah, I think it's pretty. People love this icon. You know, and I think it's more of like the Luce stuff is that I don't think you should shy away from people being attracted to aesthetics. The aesthetic doesn't mock to me, you know, and I think most of the people that like that icon don't feel that it's being somehow a mockery of iconographic style of past centuries, but rather just making that into a new aesthetic. Like if you made a statue out of it, I wouldn't find that offensive either. You know, you're just iterating. You're iterating on the icon. You know, in the Eastern tradition, this would not be an icon because it wasn't made in the. There's like a process to making an icon, like a spiritual process. So keep that in mind too. Yeah, just a new form of art. Same thing with the Renaissance. Were the Renaissance artists being bad because they weren't drawing in a 9th century style? I don't think so. I don't think you have to say, well, we reached a stylistic apex in the 9th century and nothing after that. What about the stuff before that? Was that somehow wrong? That it didn't have that style? I don't think so. But, you know, people can have their debates about it. There are reasons why you want to enforce a particularly not literal style to icons. People have pontificated on that. I tend to think that it goes along with a lot of the artistic trends from the early Middle Ages. So. Yeah, I've never seen Luce. Luce has unleashed a huge mimetic victory for the church. Like, artists are jumping in to try to do their iterations of it because they love it and because they think it's an opportunity to do something Catholic with the style that they can do, which expresses their hearts and their feelings about it and gets more people interested in, the Japanese Synod or just everything that the church is doing. Like, the controversy to me is not necessarily a negative either, because I think it drives interest. Kind of like how there's no bad press. There is actually bad press, but I don't think Lucy's it. Lucy with an E instead of a Y. It's an Italian name. Or Lucy. I'll write it in chat. Lucy. There we go. trying to think how she's going to say this. Actually, I'm going to go get another drink. I'll be right back while I think about this. A little bit of Halloween candy here. merged. Getting to the end of this. I'm trying to finish it off. And then we'll have this one out. What's up, Val? think that's the end of that chapter. All right. I think that's it for this chapter. 4,800 words. Perfect. That is a great length. Now, the next chapter is going to be very fun, too. Chapter 20. Where's the video playing? I swear I got too many open windows here. Yeah, I have a whole music channel. Here's the video we're listening to, which is just a bunch of the more popular videos I did last year. Which one is this? I don't have the track listing. I don't remember what I chose. It's good stuff, though. All right. Got that linked. Let me link the Patreon. You can read this on Patreon. Patreon members get this month. You get a special book. New one. Not really new. Actually very old. I wrote it a long time ago. It was on Kindle Vela. No one read it there. People didn't want to read anything on Kindle Vela. So so it's the free book. It's called The Bright Children. Let me find a... Oh, there is a copy of the cover on the Patreon thing. It's up in the upper corner. No one's read it, so it's your chance to get in on something new and cool. And you get a copy of Keys to Prolific Creativity, my creativity manual, how to organize your creative process, get that done. Yeah, that's what's up. So it's fun. This is a fun chapter. I'll have this one out soon, and I'll have that new book out for anyone that wants to join the Patreon. What else do we have? The Substack. Try to publish an article every week. I haven't published one this week because we did have Halloween. So I'll put out a new one today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, along with a new video on the YouTube channel. And we'll continue on with that. So anyway, I appreciate everybody coming and joining me for this little session. Let's see how much I wrote. It probably wasn't that much because I did take a break and we did rant for a bit about video games. Here we go. 2,800 words. You can do that. Oh yeah, NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. John De La Rose, on his mailing list, he put out a whole thing about like the website and the organization of this has collapsed due to the awful politics of people involved, everyone involved. So he's like, I'm thinking about resurrecting it and taking it over and making it one of our things. So we're talking about taking things over. Hey, November's a great month to do National Novel Writing Month. You can write a novel. It's 1,600 words a day. The goal is to get to 50,000 words. Okay, 50,000 words is, let's find a book of mine that's about 50,000. These two are 50,000. Al Shafalva is about 50,000. I think it's actually 60. Prophet of the God Seed's about 55 or 60,000. So you can write an entire book that's, if it's tight and tightly plotted, you can write an entire book. How many pages does that come out to? In book form, it comes out to about, 200 pages ish. These are both about 200. This one's Prophet of the Godseed's a little longer, but I think it does include a story by Matt Wellman, who created the universe with me. About 200 pages is what you end up with. This is, a little longer, I think, than that. But anyway, so yes, you can write an entire book in a month. I have done it before where I wrote 3 books in a month. So it's totally possible. And if you listen to people that are like, no one can write a book in a month, these are naysayers who've never written, right? Yes, you can. Walter B. Gibson used to write like 12 books a year that were longer than those. He'd write thousands of words every day and on a typewriter. So yes, you can be prolific and write a lot of stuff. You just got to focus on doing it every day. If you've never done it before, sit down, try 500 words. Say, I'm going to do 500 words today, and tomorrow I'm going to do 1,000. Or, 500, 750, 1,000. Try to work up to 2,000 words by the end of the month, and you'll probably have 50,000 words out there. Before you do that, you should actually plot out the book. I have tons of info on how to plot a book out in a rough way. Some people go really, really specific where they are going to do every single scene. And I could come up with a couple methods for how somebody can do that, but I don't like to stick to formulas that tight. I have a general plot sequence, and then I let all the details kind of come to me as I'm writing. So I kind of pants it on the micro level, and I'm an architect on the big level. I know where things are going. So anyway, just write 1,600 words, and then you'll have that 50,000 word manuscript, and you can revise it, or you can publish it on Royal Road or Wattpad. Maybe I'll put a book on Royal Road or something. We'll see. We'll see what people like or want to do. Might as well try some different stuff out, So that's an opportunity to do all that. You could even do everything as you write it. You could put it on one of those serial fiction websites to see if anybody wants to read it. You never know. You never know. So you can do that this month. I don't think there's really any community that's doing it. If you want to be part of a community that's doing it, I don't know. Let me know. We'll figure it out in the next couple of days. I know we're always starting this late, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. 50,000 words is not that hard to get out if you just dedicate yourself to doing it every day. It's like, I'm going to go to the gym for a month. I'm going to sit down and write every day for a month, and then you'll be able to have a book. And like I said, you can write a complete book. Let me think of some more famous books that are around that mark. A lot of Michael Moorcock's books are around 75,000 words. So that's a little bit longer, but not that much. So you can finish that off in December. Great Gatsby, I think, is in the 45,000 word. So you'd be writing something longer than The Great Gatsby and longer than Old Man and the Sea. I'm not sure how long Grapes of Wrath is. It's not that long either. And To Kill a Mockingbird is somewhere in the 75,000 word range. So 50,000 words gets you at or close to the length of a modern book. Modern 20th century book, I mean, if you're trying to write a fantasy tome, that's not going to be a fantasy tome, but that's okay, right? But I think we need more people writing like Michael Moorcock and, writers like that. I'm trying to think of some other writers that write in that 50,000 word range. Old Robert Jordan, he used to, pre-Wheel of Time, Robert Jordan used to be able to write books like that. Michael Moorcock's probably one of the big ones. Maybe... who wrote The Grand Crusade? Who am I thinking of? Slipping his name. He also wrote Mother of Kings. Mother of Kings is a long book, though. Oh, Poul Anderson. He could write books in that range really well in the sci-fi area. We need more people that are able to write shorter sci-fi books. I think Ender's Game is... fairly short as well. So a lot of Ender's Game's 100,000 words, so that's longer, but you give you halfway to there. You just do that for another month, and then you have a nice longer one. So anyway, that's that. You can do that. Join me for that. Join the Discord by joining Substack or Patreon, and I will see you all next time. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great and happy All Saints Day. I hope you had a fun Halloween. Ours was a little bit anticlimactic. Not a lot of trick-or-treaters from our neighborhood. Just people coming in from other neighborhoods. We have our lots are huge. So, like, people were coming in because they knew that our neighborhood gives out good candy. But, like, they were doing it with cars and stuff, which is kind of dumb. My kids just went around our neighborhood and they were done. They did a trunk or treat last week, and so they had plenty of candy. They're like, oh, we don't need more candy. We'll just go say hi to the neighbors, kind of thing. So anyway, I hope you guys had a good Halloween. I might do a little video kind of reflecting on that, because Halloween was huge when I was in California. When I had a smaller, in California, we'd have 3,000 square foot houses on like 4,000 square foot lots. So all the houses are really packed together. So when you do trick-or-treating in a neighborhood like that, you know, man, you can get through a lot of houses and see a lot of decorations. Yeah, more people. We went to the church trunk or treat event. That's exactly what we did, Val. Yeah, my son had a booth at it too, so that's what we did, and that was fine. He just wore my wizard hat and went around trunk or treating. You know, where they trust each other more than random people on the street. Yeah. Well, I wanted, you know, and the thing is, I didn't not give out candy to people from outside. We're like, we have the candy. We don't want to eat it. You can have it. We're giving away like 4 pieces of candy and toys and stuff. Just like, come and get some cool stuff. It's like, I don't even care like that you're from a couple neighborhoods over and you heard this neighborhood is like rich. Just enjoy the candy. Why not? I bought it. I bought it to give away. If none of the neighborhood kids are going to come by and get it, you guys should have it and have fun with it. You know, you put on your costume, you went and had fun. You got excited about the decorations at the houses. That's great. Maybe your neighbors aren't as good at that. They just don't get into it as much. That's fine. It didn't bother me that much. People are like, it's a point, you know, we're pointing to like low trust society stuff. It's like, yeah, but I think it's more, they got excited about getting candy and that was kind of their motivation. And that's fine. I remember being a kid and being like, we gotta go to this neighborhood because they give out full-size candy bars. So I think that's what a lot of them were just thinking of. And I don't resent them for that. To me, that's kind of part of the Halloween fun too. Is like, who's gonna give out the best treats? We gotta go over there. For my kids, it was mostly like meet the neighbors and hang out, look at their decorations, show off our costumes. I was a green wizard. You know, I had the green wizard hat. I put a few more feathers in it. And I have like, my staff has like feathers and stuff in it too. So I have a whole thing that goes together. Anyway, that was fun. But I agree with you. You know, Val is correct. Like a lot of it is like, I really trust the people at my church and it's safe and it's there. It's silly sometimes because they give out little pamphlets about like the devil's music, like these old boomers. It's pretty funny, but you know, my kids are like, what is this about? Like the TV's gonna make you go to hell or something? I'm like, I gotta go through a bunch of layers and explain stuff to kids, and I don't love doing that, but we mostly just look at it as a silly thing. I'm like, do you think like watching Ninja Turtles is gonna endanger you to hellfire? It's like, no. Like, okay, I think they're being a little bit, but what do you think? Do you think that they'd be afraid of that? Why would they be afraid? Oh, well, there is some inappropriate things on TV. Yeah, totally. So they're worried about kids keep being negatively influenced by what's inappropriate on TV. It's like, do I watch TV with you? Make sure you watch good stuff? It's like, yeah, okay. You don't need to worry about that. Yeah. But my old neighborhood, even during the height of the pandemic, it was huge. Halloween was like a giant neighborhood party. It was crazy. Never seen anything like it since. Oh well. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you all next time. I'm out of time. Enjoy the rest of your evening.